Hello and welcome to the Kamui Payer Play tournaments here at Harrah's Casino at the Southern Classic. We're here in Tunica, Mississippi. I'm J.R. Calvert. Joining me in the booth is John Bertone of Kamui Tips.
Hi, J.R.
Hey, how you doing, John? Welcome.
Great.
Well, we have a pretty good match here set today. We got Charlie Morra, who's stroking the ball right now, versus Gene Albrecht. They're both beating a rack or two here, and then we're going to get them started. And it's a race to 5 9-ball. And this, of course, is in the 9-ball division of the Kamui Payer Play. John, for our viewers at home, what can you tell us about the Payer Play?
Well, the first day of our event, anyone can enter in for the small nominal fee of $2.50. And then as the days go on, it's an 8-day event. When we get into the second, third day, fourth day, those opportunities of getting in at the low price go up. It doubles, so it goes to $5 to $10 to $20 to $40 as the day goes. As the days click away. But as a player plays on the first day, he can play as much as he wants as long as there's openings, and there's plenty of openings at the $2.50 price. And as the chart continues to progress, as the days progress, the levels start to narrow down as people win and people buy back in. So you can have a player that can start on the very first day and win his way all the way through the tournament, and really his first investment was $2.50, which is absolutely great. Or you can have, say like a pro player that wants to play in the event, and he can start at the $80 rate a few days down the line. The format is very, very user friendly, very, 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 very accommodating to a player that's at a tournament that has a set schedule.
Sure.
So here it's something that is beneficial for the player to continue his play, and sometimes get matched up with a pro player, where playing against a pro player, you learn a lot. You learn a lot about your game real quick. So that's pretty much the gist and rundown of the basic thing and purpose of the payer play format. So it wasn't something that was invented by me. I won't take all the credit. I met Edward Assistant at the Reno Barbucks several months ago, and he was testing that format out on some of the pool tables that were open in a section over there. And he and I started talking and thought, well, this might be something that we can do, because I see a win-win scenario for players.
Right.
Another opportunity to enjoy the game, chance to possibly win. For this event, we have it set at $1,000 guaranteed for the winner. And a lot of this, being it's the first one, it's a feasibility study where all the money is going towards the first 3 positions. So the more players we have in, the better the chances of greater payout. So it's something that I really believe in, and I enjoy myself just learning about it from Edward. So that's pretty much the long story about it. I think we can continue. We're still figuring out, as we're getting closer to the end. We're having more and more players buy in, obviously at the today's rate, which is I think $40.
I think it's 40. Yeah.
Yeah, today is $40 buy-in, which to some players that's great. That's still
cheap comparative to,
right.
Like, say the diamond is 1,000 buy-in.
yeah, and no chance to buy in after you lose on that format. But for ours, you can buy in as many times as you want as long as the chart has still open openings.
Right.
So.
Well, it's interesting.
Yeah, so it gets a little more exciting as we get down towards the end. So I'm quite happy with it. It's a good thing to have the Kamui name behind it. That way it gives a little boost for Edward and exposing this format, something new to help the sport of billiards.
Yeah, I think some people go, well, how is a game, going to change? How are we going to do this? And part of it is really we need to kind of find a happy medium for the player. Right now, the player has said you're being forced to play either single or double elimination, and you're being forced to play by these rules. And sometimes the players just don't like that.
Right.
We for decades now have been exploring handicapping and how to make that work on a regional or national level. And, really the leagues seem to have quite a good handle on that, on how to keep amateurs playing against each other without having people come in that are that much better.
Right.
But at the same time, here we are saying, what happens if everybody's just considered even? How can we change it so that others would be interested in playing? Well, multiple entry fees, different levels of entry fees, different levels of involvement as far as times. Being flexible to the player is something that I think that's beneficial.
Yes.
This may be a thought experiment that gets turned into a real life experiment, but in the end, we're going to see how the players respond to this.
Yes. Yes, and I think so far it's a good response. And in the very beginning, explaining this format to somebody, and it's something new, not too many people take to change or to new formats and think it's kind of, strange. And that's not the case here. We've had some skeptics, and they had to sit and watch and see how it goes, and that's great. And now they're believers. Very much akin to our Kamui chalk. How can it be? That's okay. I think there's a lot of pool players that are finicky cats, and that's okay. We love them all.
Right.
I'm very happy where it's going now, and maybe we can do another event. Still have to determine whether it's we have a break even. We want a very minimum break even. On this event.
Yeah, I think it's great to give it a try. I think it's great for you and all the sponsors to step up to the plate in the manner that you did to support the sport. It's not every day that we really do get out and find ourselves coming together to support an idea.
Right.
And the idea here is this might not be the final idea. It might be real close to the final idea. For us to take a chance and put some money out here and see what the players come back with as far as data, that's going to be huge.
Yeah, and I'm happy to make changes to the format and improve the format. But what really caught my attention is a young player, very new to the sport, can come in for $2.50, which is probably cheaper than practice time, and at random. Now they get picked at random to be matched up with somebody, and maybe yes, handicap would be cool, but more so there's a learning experience for the young player that's playing against the pro or maybe a semi-pro player. So maybe in the future we might have handicapping, but I don't think it's necessary when the experience is invaluable.
Exactly. Now, I was under the belief that you could be sitting out, hanging out, and say, hey, I want to play, and tell Edward, and Edward would say, okay, I'll let you know if somebody comes up and says they want to play, and just go from there. You know, you could play, more or less, you could go, hey, I want to play him in the first round, and they could do that.
Yeah, they can.
So there is that, now, which is another thing that most people haven't seen. I think Edward's getting them started out there.
Yeah, that's Edward in the teal shirt.
Yeah, the teal, and Gene Albrecht is in the red shirt. Getting ready to lag and break here.
Race to 5.
Race to 5.
Right, and another tidbit about the format that I didn't mention is, you know, at $2.50, you don't have a race to 5. You do. You have a race to 1. You know, it's very simple. But as the days click off and the price goes up, you have now a race to 5. Tomorrow, I think, will be a race to 7, and the final day will be a race to 9.
Right.
And that's where, you know, it becomes more of a really standard tournament, real serious tournament. So it's pretty cool.
Right. Yeah, I think that was something that you and I talked about. We had obviously, you know, sat down and talked about these tournaments as a single tournament, and my question was, well, wait a minute, if everybody can get in for $2.50, why wouldn't they do it? Now you might have 1,000 matches to play. And you said, well, I think what we're doing is we're having shorter races. And I said, I think that's the only thing you can possibly do.
Much shorter races.
You know, race to 11 for $2.50, I don't think is...
No. Yeah, that's a lot of time.
Well, folks, we've been jibber-jabbering for about 10 minutes here about it, but here we go. Gene Albrecht ready to break game number 1. And 9 is heading towards the hole. It's hanging. That's Tyler Steyer, young guy that shoots straight as an arrow. Now, they're going to let the ultimate break rack, which is one of our sponsors, they're going to let that rack right out on the table. It's that good.
Oh, wow.
And Gene's going to push back, saying, okay, I don't think you're going to be able to make this 9-ball from here, but you never know. I'd love to see him cut this one in the lower right-hand corner and run the cue ball 3 rails and make the 9, but I guess, you know, that's dream fantasy land.
Right. You know, you mentioned last night, you know, just get frustrated and sometimes just slap it really hard and see what happens. That's the moment that sometimes I would just, you know, for fun, just slap it really hard and see where, you know, try to get that cue ball up there and just knock that 9 in.
Let's see if it happens, right? He's saying go ahead. You never know what Gene has in mind here. Now, I've seen Gene around through the years, and Gene is a smart player and you know, one of these guys who has a great stroke. So let's see what he thinks about this all. He's going to go ahead and lay it on down to the bottom of the rail here. No, I don't think that that's a horrible shot, but I think he wanted more out of it.
Yeah. Also, another interesting thing about this is we're playing on 10-foot diamond pool tables, and you know, this is the first event that Diamond has these brand new 10-foot pool tables.
Right.
So they're not playing on your professional 9-foot. We're going to call these professional 10-foots. They are a whole different animal.
Yeah, the balls aren't smaller. The table's that much bigger.
Yes.
These aren't marbles that they're playing with.
Yeah, and that's a humbling experience for a player because, you know, where he may make that one ball on a 9-foot table and he misses on a 10-foot table. I mean, that could be a very frustrating thing for a player, but it's a humbling experience. So they have to adjust and change.
Exactly.
And understand that, you got an extra foot going on. More table.
More table. Well,
and historically, tournaments in the early 1900s were played on 10-foot pool tables in your standard pool hall. Am I correct? I mean, that's what I heard from Greg Sullivan.
Well, 10-foot tables were the norm until right after World War II.
Okay.
And what happened is the Brunswick Corporation was selling bowling in bowling alleys, and you could actually get plans for bowling alleys. Mm-hmm. And in those plans, they had a little set amount of space, and what they were glad to do was, fill that amount of space with pool tables.
Ah, okay.
And they realized that they could sell a couple of extra pool tables if the table went from 10 foot to 9 foot.
Well, yeah, that makes a huge difference.
And now the guy had more money to buy the bowling alleys. He could, usually less space was needed and less materials to build the building. Mm-hmm. And it optimized profits, I'm sure, for Brunswick Corporation. And what happened is they started making more 9-footers and rolling them out. And as the housing boom kept coming in during the 50s and the world grew, wow, there they were putting 9-footers in every table, or every, home possible. So
right.
it
and then it went down to 8 foot and smaller as game rooms changed. Yeah, there's an evolution to it.
He made the 9 here? No.
Oh.
But it's an interesting thing because it really was through necessity.
Right.
Turn profit, get it down there. We needed a space, and that's the whole idea with the 7-footer as well. 7-footer became this, bar room thing, and bars didn't normally have room for pool tables. They had dartboards, and they said, well, okay, I will put the pool table in there. And
then the coin-operated table is what came about, and it's probably because of the bar.
The bar.
Yeah. Long Beach, where I live, has a very old bar. It's called Joe Jost.
Mm-hmm.
And a very popular place. But in there, when I go to play pool with my buddy Brian, we're playing. Well, they have a 12-foot snooker table in there, and it's older than dirt. And then they have some old Brunswick 9-foot tables. And they have the return ball tray that snakes out from the table, and that's those tables are really, really old. So there's other bars in Long Beach that came around after, and in those bars, and I've been to those, have just a small, at most, an 8-foot.
Right.
But most of them are the smaller table because they don't have that much room, but they want to keep their customers in there, so hanging out and then give them something to do.
Well, the particulars on the way this table came about, there's a little bit of a gray area, but I think that Earl Strickland had a lot to do with it. Earl grew up in a time when there were more 10-foot tables in existence still that were in pool rooms, and he knew, Earl being he is in search of the perfect stroke, if I had to put it bluntly. I mean, he's always trying to do something to improve his game, and he was practicing on this, and him and Shane had a confrontation, a little matchup in Ohio last year.
Yeah, last year.
And thus the rebirth of the 10-foot table. Mm-hmm. And now here we are. Diamond made 4 of these beautiful tables and has been so gracious. They're one of our sponsors here. So gracious as to host this. Let us host these events here.
And that was the other reason why I really spent a lot of time joining up with Edward and marketing this and getting our sponsors in line, and that was from, we started talking about this at the BCA Nationals, and that was, when was that? In June? No.
That was May.
Yeah, that was May. And, the next day I was counting on the whole project all the way through, because here we have 10-foot tables, and a lot of people want the 10-foot tables, but here's another opportunity to get more people exposed to the pair play. So it was like a perfect fit, perfect opportunity to let people see, and even online for everyone to see at home, 10-foot table, and and a humbling experience of playing 9-ball right now as you see it, and learning about the Kamui pair play. So it was a perfect opportunity. So I'm happy that I'm here, and happy that you're here to stream it.
Well, we're glad to be here. Trust me, this is a lot of fun. And just a little note: the guys look like they're starting out a little rough. Keep in mind, these are 4.5-inch pockets, or 4.25-inch pockets.
Yeah, 4.25.
A tight table on a 4.5 by 9 is 4.5-inch pockets. Now imagine moving the pockets back and making the pocket tighter. So yeah, these are not easy tables to play on. This is kind of the.
I spent some time on one of the tables. I'd say about a half hour, 45 minutes. I almost felt like a fool in comparison. But I bet you, if I went back to a 9-foot or down to a bar box table, I'd be knocking them in right and left.
I'm sure you would, because it would seem like it was easy, so close. And I think that's why Earl has been spending time playing on these. He wants to have that, hey, here we are, we're playing right on these. Mm-hmm. And to Earl, this is a table. To everybody else, it's an experiment. What does it do when I do this? What do I do when I do that? And when he moves down to a 9-foot, it helps him. Earl runs every day. And, I think that the match between him and Landon tonight, it's supposed to start, it's floating because of the one-pocket finals, and they don't want to split the crowds up. But it's floating between 11 p.m. and midnight. And
it'd be nice if we could have it earlier, but we're going to have it no matter what. And that's a match you can't miss, because here you have a 16-year-old, young 16-year-old, versus a veteran of the sport. And, it's going to be definitely interesting to see how Earl handles this young kid. And I'm sure this Landon, a lot of talent, a lot of future for Landon. I wonder how much coaching he's getting right now.
Well, his dad is a great teacher and practices and teaches the center to edge formula for aiming. And as far as things go, I think his father is a real teacher. I think that he may be retiring soon. I don't know whether it's that is the formula. I haven't sat down. But I actually I heard from one of the chat members that today might be Stan Shuffett's birthday.
Oh.
That is unsubstantiated, unproven yet. But he was sitting up in the stands and just watching the 10-foot tables and watching the one-pocket match earlier. Looks like our gang is getting a little bit of a lesson on how to rack the balls with the ultimate rack from Edward Assisson.
That's not the magic rack, is it? Which one's that?
He's asking about the magic rack. No, it is not. It's the ultimate rack. Here, I'll do it. Here,
I got
because it got the white background. All right. And now it makes us dark. Okay.
Well, we just took a little photo, and we're going to put it up on Facebook.
Yeah, we're posing for a photo with ourselves, folks, because nobody else will take our picture. And Gene has an open shot at the 1, but keep in mind, a very tough table. As I suggested, I think they should call this model the Brobdingnagian. It's exactly 5 by 10. Well, not really. I'm sure that that's going to be the topic of some of the chat out there, is what is the actual measurements of this table?
What is it exactly? It's not exactly 5 by 10. It's like...
No, tables are not that way. There's usually a few inches. What the measurements actually represent is everything that you see blue on the table. So they actually include the rails.
Oh, the back edge of the rail?
Mm-hmm.
Or not the front edge where the ball hits?
That's right.
So it's the back edge of the rail. Oh.
That's how I've always known it to be. So it's
I never
56.
bothered to find out.
Right. So it is actually 56 by 112.
Wow. And what is the distance from corner to corner? That has to be, another foot?
I measured that, and I thought that I came up with it. It was almost 11 feet.
11 feet.
Yeah.
So if you had to hit a ball from
Corner to corner, you'd be
corner to
making.
corner, yeah. It's an 11-foot shot.
Yeah, that wouldn't be my favorite. I'd be.
No room for error.
No
to be
thanks.
dead nuts on robot like.
I have one of our chat members, Dave11372, is asking, hey, is the 10-foot the future? I actually think we have a chance here, guys. I think, if anything, it's going to be the table that they go to for the pros. Because keep in mind, Diamond does most of the tournaments and provides the tables. They could easily, well, not easily, but they could manage to get 20 of these bad boys made and on stock and ready to do tournaments.
Yeah.
And
it does take a lot of room in a semi.
Yeah.
Semi truck, you can pack a lot of 8-foots and 9-foots, and then come to the 10-foots. You know, I don't think you could stack it on end. It'll have to be laying on its side. Or an 8-foot, you could stack it on end and stack it. Yeah.
Right.
I'm just thinking about that. It just logistically can be very expensive. But they have to do it. I mean, the players love it, and I think it's a good thing for our sport to grow it.
Yeah, now I truly believe that Chad gave us some good intel by telling us that it was 1,500 pounds.
Oh, that's a little heavy. Just slightly heavy.
That ball looked like it went. See Gene grabbing a little snack there. Been a long day. It's kind of tough to eat and play at the same time. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Even if you have a glove on.
Yeah, last night's event, I forgot his name.
Darren Appleton and Alex Pegalon.
Yeah, Darren was so tired. Even me, I'm still tired today. But Darren was so tired that I sent his girlfriend Angie over to him with a 5-hour energy just to get him focused, because it's just very tiring late at night. But I think we're going to have one of those next, a new late night tonight with Earl Strickland and Landon Shuffett.
Landon is a very composed young man.
I've been watching him.
He's amazing. Mm-hmm. Mental control, mental grasp of the game, the physical, of course. He's got it all. He's got all the tools.
Yeah. If anyone's going to crack him, I think Earl would.
Earl can crack him. I'm not saying that he's infallible, but
but the learning experience that Landon's going to have, that's awesome.
We're gonna chronicle it. We're gonna, mark it down in history when these two titans met each other. The young lion and the old lion. When Landon's, 49 years old, he'll sit back and look at this and say, 33 years ago, I was playing the great Earl Strickland.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. A great opportunity for a young man like that.
Well, some guys out in the JJ Anglin. Thank you very much for all the nice posts, by the way. On Facebook, we really appreciate that. And he has a good question here. He's asking, do the players make a good living? You know, you have to define what's good living. It depends on where they live, of course. But I can say this, that the players generally are responsible for finding their own sponsors to get to the events. So in other words, they have to put their money up first. If they're lucky, they get a Kamui, they get a Simonis, they get, a Diamond or a Viking to throw some money towards their travel expenses so that, their arm doesn't rush shut by the time they get there because they're paralyzed from spending $2,000 on plane fare, food, and hotel and everything else. But the money still isn't that good because a lot of these same sponsors have to put the money into the event to make the event happen. So the sponsors are stretched thin.
Yes.
And industry, it's not like there's 50 types of divisions within our industry. There's a few major divisions within our industry. There's balls, there's tables, there's sticks, there's tips, there's cloth. But, you can only, go to that, several times before, everybody starts getting broke and we're all putting money into the same event. So what a lot of the players do is they find pool rooms. And I think this is what Earl's doing at this time. He may be working up in New York at a great room that has a 10-foot table, and working as a house pro, and they help pay his expenses. I would think that might be what's going on here with Earl right now, and that makes sense for the players to find a day-to-day sponsor, so to speak, who they do lessons and they might sell some cues or do whatever in the establishment. But what it lets them do is play pool for free, which that takes one of those line items out of the old budget right away. Mm-hmm. And then they turn around and get a small sponsorship from some other people, and the whole thing works. Now suddenly at the end of it, there's not a lot of red numbers. There's black numbers.
Right. And
does that mean that they're actually making tons of money? No. Does it mean that they're surviving? Yeah, they're doing all right.
Yeah, if you do something that you love, you will benefit from it in some way, shape, or form. Like for myself, I'm doing exactly what I love here, and that's Kamui.
Mm-hmm.
Creating a great product for the industry, and then creating win-win scenarios with other brands in the industry as well as with players, and making an effort to growing the sport.
All right.
Our sport is small and big at the same time in some regards.
Right.
And a lot of us have to pull together and support each other, and it's all for the love of pool.
And the name of the room that Earl plays at, John Slingblade confirmed it, I believe, or Dave 113072 maybe. Both might have let me know that that's Steinway Billiards. And we have a jump shot from Charlie coming out here. Possibly. I still think the kick is better and more high percentage. And I believe is that Larry Ross's place? Steinway Billiards? Do you guys know? And I know that they have confirmed that today is Stan's birthday. I believe Upstate Al knows a little bit more about what's going on with World. It's House of Lords. Okay. Toasty. Okay. Got it. We just had a little visitation from Torsten Homan. He wants to give a shout out to Anna G in Estonia. Says hello. House of Lords. I thought that's why I wanted to say, but thanks, Upstate. Now, House of Lords is the one where do they have a 10-foot table there, Upstate? We'll give them a little bit more information here as it comes in. But back to the match. Charlie has a long 7-ball. I think he has a natural cut here. Just has to cut it in. And remember, 4 1/4-inch pockets. If you're looking for how that looks, 2 balls don't fit into the mouth of these pockets. It's pretty tight. Take a moment to thank our moderators and all of our moderators out there, Upstate Al and the crew.
Didn't go in.
Thank everybody that's showing up. Without you and our sponsors, these shows don't happen. So thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. So a little bit about our sponsors. We have Simonis Cloth. We have Viking Cues, which is introducing to our great little industry the Exact Shot low deflection shaft. So if you want to go check that out, you can probably find it on YouTube. Just search for Exact Shot Shaft Viking Q, or go to vikingq.com and express your feelings. You want to see the Exact Shot Shaft, and tell them that you heard about it on the live stream with JR and myself. Who are our other sponsors? We have Sieberts.com, where you can purchase Kamui chalk and Kamui, the Kamui tip tool, which is called the Gator Grip, as well as thousands of other billiard supplies, pool cues, billiard cloth. It's a great online retail store. The great people of that work over there at Sieberts are absolutely awesome. Great customer service. They are really great with their shipping. And did I miss someone?
Diamond Billiards.
Oh, myself, Kamui Tips.
We need a cheat sheet for you.
Yeah, I need a cheat sheet. Kamui Tips. Yes, we manufacture. I guess. And it's not self-proclaimed, but everybody tells me that all they do is put on Kamui tips for all their customers. So I guess we're one of the #1 brands in billiard tips. And latest now is our Kamui chalk and some other stuff. So if you want to check out some of our things, you can go to kamuitips.com and look at what we have there.
That's excellent. Good information. We're going to run some of those commercials on it later when the guys are racking. And let you check out some of the products and some of the information that can come your way.
Scratch on the brake. That's always aggravating, isn't it?
It is a deflating thing. You end up going from, wow, I'm braking, I'm going to brake and run out, to now I've just given the guy ball in hand.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, you know what's even worse? Is on the brake, you get the 9-ball in, and then the cue ball just rolls right up to the pocket and falls right in.
Or another ball hits it in while it's sitting still. And
Sitting
the ball
still,
comes in and hits it in.
Oh, that's bad. A bad feeling there. You could have had, a 9-ball on the break. That's an automatic win, but not when you scratch.
Right. I mean,
it's a win then a loss.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. It's I think people talk about how pool players whine, and I think one of the reasons that I can see is, imagine a sport where everything changes every shot, just about.
Mm-hmm.
Everything changes by the second. You can go up and down on this roller coaster ride as balls seeming to be lining up for you, and then at the last minute, the last moving ball comes in and hides you.
Yeah.
And suddenly what was a great opportunity is now, a giant hurdle. And
Right.
I kind of I feel for pool players because obviously I've played pool so much, but I don't think people equate that too often. I mean, in football, the team's going down the field, they do all the plays and they're going in one direction. In pool, it's going to be a great shot. It's going to be a great shot. It's not, and this is your opportunity unfolding, and you get to see how the dice kind of roll.
Yeah, definitely a lot of drama in all those little things about pool. At times I've held my breath. I need to remind myself to breathe.
I love it. Breathe, John, breathe.
Yeah. or yesterday I caught myself on the edge of the chair and my legs started to hurt because I wasn't sitting right on my chair. I'm like, wait a second, why am I in pain sitting here on the edge of my seat?
Well, Gene seriously wants to close out this rack. Now, he's setting pretty good. I believe he should go into this corner forward. It's a much easier way to go around it, but he's going to be cutting across the line of the hole unless he would have shot for the side pocket. But
the ball rolled a little bit too far for him to have a straight shot in on the corner. He can run, he can go after this, and he has a risk of scratching cue ball into the side pocket. So, yeah, got to be very careful. He executed that pretty nice, but now he's a little, I would say, in my comfort zone, a little too close to the 8 to really cut it into the corner.
Sure. I think he's all right with the cut. What I do is I hit this ball with a lot of draw on a short stroke, and I bend it into the rail and slow the cue ball down. He looks like he's going to zigzag. 1,
there you go.
2.
You go. Well executed.
Well executed. I've always loved killing balls. That's just been, little punch strokes and everything else.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my style. If I run down through my set of rules, is usually the most successful path is a straight path or the shortest path.
Great. So now Gene has 1 under his belt. And he needs 3 more to get 1 on the lead.
Why don't we take a second and hear from one of our sponsors here.
When we broke down a performance shaft to see how it works and how to make it better, you will ask yourself, how do we ever shoot without it?
We felt that we could create something better. The Viking Exact Shot.
And we're back. Getting ready to see Gene Albrecht's offering to kick off rack 5.
Got 1, 2, 3 balls in?
Looks to me like he got 3 balls. That rack's pretty good.
Yeah.
Just ask Gene.
Yeah. Let's see. I predict Gene will knock in a few balls, but he's probably going to miss 1. How's that for prediction? Can he run out? Can he see it all?
I think if he hits this with a flat high ball and goes back and across, he can end up near the 6, but towards the center of the table. And I think you'll be surprised what you're going to find is that he's in position to run out the whole rack.
Good. I would expect that from him on a 9-foot table. Got to remember, it's a 10-foot table. So Yep.
And he hit it like it was on a 9-foot angle.
Yep.
And that catches a lot of guys.
It's very humbling. And you're absolutely right, because where that ball went to the rail would have been
Right in the hole on a 9-footer.
yeah. I've noticed that the pros have been spending a little extra time evaluating their shot when executing it.
Mm.
So that's something that they'll walk around the table several times and look at their angles and play true to the table and not what they think.
Right.
So that's the difference that you'll see in a well-seasoned pro player.
Excellent. Excellent.
And JR had to step off to answer an important phone call. Someone asked if this is John Morra's father. I don't think so. I can check later. So any of you at home have any questions for myself about Kamui tips or the chalk, feel free to ask. I'm very happy to answer. Well, my name is John Bertone. I own KamuiTips.com. How many Kamui tips did I sell this year? Well, that's a number that I have to go count. Yes, they became ultra super popular. Well, for many reasons, and the quality and the reputation that's been built from players talking to players and telling about their experience of the Kamui tips, and the other part is it's a shortage of other brand. The market is changing a little bit, so that's also another factor in the demand for the Kamui product. College discounts. Well, a little bit about Kamui. One thing that I learned when I was a player, the first time I had a problem with my cue and an issue with the tip, I went looking for someone to do repair, give me put a new tip on the cue, and that was my local cue maker. And his name is Kerry Zeiler, and unfortunately he's no longer with us. Great cue maker. You can find him on the 3rd edition of the Blue Book of Pool Cues. But that was pretty much the foundation of where I started I understood from Kerry a lot of things, about, the tips that he had in his shop, the issues that he had with, different tips and inconsistencies and stuff like that. And from that point, I believed in supporting the local cue maker because they're really the go-to person. So through KamuiTips.com on the Contact Us page, if you wanted to know who your local authorized Kamui tip installer is, you can fill out the form there and give me a day or so to reply back, but I can geographically pinpoint one that's closest to you. And the great benefit there is if you've never been to a cue maker's shop, it's quite an experience. The process of making a pull cue can range from several months to several years to make a pull cue. And yes, these sticks of the sticks that we use, the tool to playing pull, is functional art. I've seen many beautiful pieces that you'd be afraid of hitting a cue ball with, but myself, I say, if it's that beautiful, it's worthy of playing pool. So the prices of cues can vary. As far as your imagination can go, yes, they can get that expensive. But so I don't sell the tips directly to players, only because I want you guys going to your local cue maker and repair shop and learning a little bit about making a pull cue. Watch them for a little bit. These guys have a real true love for pool. They're ambassadors to pool, and I've made it my commitment to support these guys and not sell the product directly to players. And I apologize to the players, but really I want you guys to go directly to your authorized Kamui tip installer. But with all the other products, find me at BC Nationals or AP Nationals, or even here at Tunica. I have the chalk and the Kamui Gator Grip, which is our tip deburnishing tool. Those you can buy directly from me or from your authorized installer. Most of them carry a lot of our other products. And the reason why I do that is because I really want to connect with the players and make sure that you guys have a good education and understanding of proper tip maintenance. We have a low maintenance tip, and some of the tools out there are for high maintenance tips. And when you mix a high maintenance tool with a low maintenance tip, it becomes disastrous. I've seen so many. So if you're ever at one of those events, stop by the booth and say hi. I'm very happy to help and answer any questions you may have. I really enjoy spending time with real passionate pool players.
What's your match, 7:30? 6:30.
So when it comes to college discounts, well, you have to talk to your authorized installer. I would expect him to give a discount for an aspiring student of anything. I believe in higher education. Question here is, what was mentor tip that you followed from making your tip? Mentor tip. Well, it wasn't so much a mentor tip. It was, and it wasn't from me. Masato Hirooka from Kamui, Japan. He connected with me through Kerry Zeiler. So Masato is an avid player, and I learned how avid just recently when I took my trip to to Japan in October. Extremely avid. He goes to work from 9 till 9 in the morning, 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning till about 6 or 7 o'clock at night. Runs home, grabs something quick to eat, goes to the pool hall till about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and does that every day. And in our factory in Japan, he also has a Brunswick pool table, in the factory. So, yeah, he's playing on the pool table and testing out products, tips and stuff all the time. But to answer that question, how Kamui was born probably is probably the better question. Masato realized that there's so many inconsistencies when he tried a new tip, or put on a new tip when he needed a new tip, and it was difficult to readjust, and his learning ability took 2 steps backwards after it took 1 step forward, and it was very frustrating for him. So that's pretty much how it was born. He just went on a mission to find out how he can scientifically stabilize the leather and make it better and more consistent. And one thing that he, the values that Masato has, very much like my values. We're just never satisfied with the products we produce, and he and I have been, amazing friends and great partners in this project. So sometimes he comes to the Super Billiards Expo is another one that I go to, so he'll probably be at that one with me. And I think Super Billiards Expo is going to be in New Jersey for 2013. So, someone mentioned Joey in Cali is a cue maker that spent a lot of time with Kerry Zeiler. Yes, he did. Joey and I are I'd say, pretty good friends, and he buys Kamui tips from me, and he made some an additional shaft for my Zeiler cue. So, yes, Joey knows all of Kerry's tricks on making an amazing player's cue. The question here is, but which tip was Masato trying to produce a better tip than for the most part? Well, it wasn't that. It wasn't looking to do a better tip than anybody else. It was actually the equation was, how can we take leather and make it stable, that we can produce a super soft tip that doesn't lose its shape and doesn't mushroom. So that was the big question, and through science and some engineering figured out that, and we just set out to making the best product that we can produce using all of our talents. I have myself a material science background from background of metallurgy with my father, although I graduated college in a whole different degree, but I spent all my life in understanding material and science related things. So understanding what's going on in the factory and sharing my talent and understanding with one of the engineers, Suji, who engineered the Kamui chalk. That's been a really awesome experience. So Ollie out there, I don't know what the score is, and I can't change the score because I don't know how to operate this system over here that JR has, and he's actually on a phone call, so it must be super, super important for him. So I apologize about the score. I don't know how to change it here. Does anyone know what the score is? Has anyone been tracking it? Let getting two different scores out there. So, Upstate Al, do you know? And someone said eBay sells a lot of Kamui tips. Are there copycats out there? Yes. Unfortunately, China decides to make counterfeit, and we had a rude awakening I'd say about 9 months ago, and seeing one of our own counterfeits in our own hands, and her scratching her head going, all right, well, we're going to have to make it a little bit more difficult for China, and we have to educate the players in understanding how to identify what a counterfeit is. And I can promise you that if you buy a Kamui tip from your authorized installers are actually buying directly from myself, and also buying from a couple of my distributors that buy from me. So, when you go to eBay, yes, you do have a risk. And when it comes to counterfeiting, it's very difficult to notice, especially when you're a consumer and you are a victim at that point, which is really unfortunate. And counterfeiting is very unnerving for me, because it could really give a bad image to a brand that really spends a lot of time and effort. All parties lose when a counterfeit product hits the market. The consumer loses because they spend a lot of money for something that's inferior, and then the manufacturer, the brand holder, loses because the player has experienced an inferior product and knows that he's experienced an inferior product, and now starts blaming that the brand isn't what it says it is, and that's really damaging and very unfortunate. So I'll give a hint to everybody. Not so much a hint, I'll just let you guys all know that we're very vigilant about that, and we're working on something that's really, really revolutionary in the ability of preventing or making it a hell of a lot more difficult for China to counterfeit our product. And that's great for everybody involved. Counterfeit product getting out of the market is it's bad for everybody. Really bad for everybody.
So it's a hit squad with zombies and vampires and big dogs and guys with guns.
Oh yeah, I'd love to. Just raid one of those places. Masato showed me a video that he took about Master Chop.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you got to be very careful, to buy authentic, because you don't want to support those that are counterfeiting. And that's something that we're working on, something really new. If you hadn't noticed already, we do have a serial number system printed on each and every tip, pressed in serial number. We have several uses for that serial number system, and one most important use is quality control. We have basic born on dates for all of our tips, and when we have a possible issue, we can recall tips and find out which group was bad, and we can take care of it. We want to make sure that all of our cue makers and repair guys have the best of the best. And the other reasons is making sure that they're authentic. Putting in another thing like a hologram or a pressed in serial number makes it difficult for China to try to counterfeit it.
Yeah, there's a lot of things. I think what I would say is the worst thing that you can possibly do is not attempt to make it hard for somebody,
Yeah,
So.
yeah. And some of the other popular brands out there, like Predator, like McDermott, as well as Morra, you find a lot of counterfeit product out there, and that's really bad, really bad. And some of those factories are kind of helpless in how they can protect themselves. So we're taking a stance and making it really difficult for them. If they want to make that much of an investment and effort, and they impress us, hey, we might make them a factory. Because eventually we'll find them anyway. So, yeah, they won't bother if it's very difficult to do.
Right. Well,
and we're working on other ways, so stay tuned. I think we're going to make a dent in that.
yeah, I truly believe that what we're going to see is in the future, companies that are having these issues are going to start being forced to deal with it. For instance, there's a McDermott in China.
Yeah. Oh boy, when I saw that photo, man, I said, "Oh my goodness." You got to be kidding me.
And these guys are great guys. American company.
Yeah.
And I hate to use the names. I'm hoping nobody's angry about this, but it's starting to become common knowledge, and that they're on their horse doing things to make sure that the customer knows that they're getting an authentic McDermott cue.
Mm-hmm. And a really cool thing that they're doing is they're trying to set up a dealer, an actual authentic distributor in China that would, force the consumer to say, well, wait a second, all right, this is a real one, this is a fake. Well, we're not going to buy from the fake, and so that if the counterfeiter doesn't have any business, well, he's just going to stop counterfeiting.
Right.
That's the whole object. So.
Yeah, that's what happens. If you can't sell something, why would you make it?
Right. I did hear a story that there were counterfeit iPhones, and it was a store. I think it was in China somewhere. It was just something counterfeit, and I don't know. I just heard this story, and the consumers started rioting outside. Started, throwing rocks and getting very vigilant because they just got had. So I thought that was pretty cool.
One of our 7-ball for life said, "Hey, why is your chalk slightly smaller than all the other chalk?"
Well, we didn't intend on it being slightly smaller. What had happened is, through our research of different compounds, and then finally coming up with our final compound, part of the process of producing the product, it became that size.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not now. Granted, we were always looking to improve the product, and as our customers support us in enjoying the product and using it and loving the product, just like any smart company, they're going to look to improve their product. So I'm hoping that we'll either change the shape of the chalk
Mm-hmm.
to be something that's unique, or get the right tooling to bring it up to the standard size. Whichever it's going to be, I'm not totally sure yet, but we have to do what's with best business sense for us, and enjoyable for the player.
Sure,
So-
I agree with that.
So it was. I want to say it's by accident. It was just the nature of the beast, how the compound worked. So, yeah, I spent a good time. It's 17 days in Japan in October, and I made quite a bit of the chalk. And let me tell you, it's messy. Oh, everything blue. I felt like a Smurf. Yeah, a Smurf by the time I was done. Either I felt like a Smurf, or I felt like Gargamel Azrael.
Right.
Gargamel, who goes hunting for the Smurfs. Smurf blood everywhere.
Smurf killer.
Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, well, some of the very first jokes that happened on AZ was that we were, our blue chalk comes from Smurfs. That was Smurf related, and I thought it was hilarious.
Well, we're going to be hill here, folks. Why don't we take a minute and hear from one of our sponsors. And we're back. Well, we're all tied up at 4 games apiece. Gene Albrecht delivers a pretty solid break there. Not quite sure that he's going to like this shot on the 1, but at least he'll be able to push out. It's better than not having the option at all. Now, I would probably be pushing down to this bottom rail where his left hand is, because if he pushes even with this ball, there's too many options for him to play safe here. So you see what he's doing. He's pushing down this way.
Yeah.
Smart push.
Yeah, so Morra handed it back to him.
Mm-hmm. Well, it looks to me that this turned out about as good as it could. It wasn't really exactly easy. Charlie may be able to hit this one right at the 3 and let the cue against the rail. There he goes. Almost got unlucky and made it.
Tell us, Nostradamus. What you gonna do?
Looks to me like he's going to kick at this ball and try and get position on the 3. A little bit of a bad hit. Let's see, he's trying to set up somewhere here where he can, he's just removing the ultimate rack there. Now, if the 3 goes by the 8, and he would be able, if he got the right angle, to run the cue ball into the 6 afterwards. So I think he's going to swing this down to the bottom rail here and then off to towards the center of the table, but on this side of the side pocket by about a diamond. Let the cue run into the 6, hopefully. If he plucks it clean, he's fine. If he hits the 4 and the 6, well, the cue could go the other direction. He won't get a shot.
So he's just going to go on, hit it onto the end rail and come back up around behind that.
Yeah, he should be in between the 3 and the 5 and the 9 here. He's on the wrong side. He caught all of that ball. And now he's forced to kick because I don't think there's enough of that ball for him to confidently aim at it. So he wants to go 1 rail.
And
I would go 2.
Draw the cue ball, hitting the 1 ball in the corner, drawing the cue ball back to break the the 2 and the 6
Mm-hmm.
may not have been good enough for him because he would be stretching out over the table to do that type of stroke.
Well, you don't like to draw with ball in hand. That's like one of the no-nos.
Missed that altogether.
Missed it all together, and he's left Gene with the ultimate prize here. If I had to really get down to it. Yeah.
Well, folks, on that shot, just over the. You see me rocking back and forth. That's me. That's us under the Kamui logo on the screen.
It's
Wave
there.
to you out there.
That's us.
Hey.
Gene gave it a ride. Didn't
Yeah.
turn out the it wanted to go.
Yeah, that slot machine did not produce 7s.
Well, the 4-6 has still got a, it's a little bit tied up, and I don't disagree. Go for that 9-ball combo, but I think he should have played safe while doing so. Well, this is a pretty easy safety here. He's just going to stick the cue ball. Don't hit it too hard. And believe it or not, this is where you look to keep balls in the way, like the 7-ball. See if he can get these balls in the way of the kick. And he's let the kick open. And you always hear about players saying, well, he took the short rail away. That's when you know that you're going to play safe on the guy, and you pretty much know where the balls are going to end up. You want to know which rail to block the kick on.
Mm-hmm.
So there's balls that he could have used there to try and place the 4-ball and make sure that the kick wasn't easy. This is a fairly simple kick. As a matter of fact, it's such an easy kick and easy to divide the balls. I think Gene is going to try and hit the bottom side of the 4, drive the 4, one rail up to the bottom rail near the Viking and Simonis banners.
That's a good way to show it, yeah.
And bring the cue ball back on down past the 6-ball and onto the bottom rail where the ultimate rack is laying. He hit it square in the face, but that was the speed he wanted, and guess what? He got rewarded.
Yeah. He got rewarded on the opposite side. I'm sure he was intending on the side pocket closest to him. Yeah, if I was playing with friends, I'd say, yeah, I meant to do that.
Sure.
Well, you thought I was going to do it in that side pocket? No, I meant to go bank it off there and skim it off there and slam dunk it. Alright, this is his to run out.
Well, if he can make it and get on this side of the table with the cue ball, he's supposed to have this set in the bag.
Yep, he will own this match.
He can do this with plain follow or low right.
Oh. That's frustrating.
Well, not as frustrating as it is for poor Gene. I think we're going to see Charlie go get the rake here.
Yep, he's
get
going
the
to have to
break.
stretch over that table. In the background there, in the white shirt, or white black striped shirt, is professional player Dennis Orcolo.
He was one of the matches that our Facebook fans were voting on to see whether we were going to broadcast that tonight in the live broadcast. The viewer's choice turned out Earl Strickland and Landon Shuffett.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting match. I'm you got totally experienced versus, young student of the game, that's probably been downloaded as, just as much experience. And he's going to have to, decipher that out and figure his path to beating Earl. If he beats Earl, that's news headlines right there. For a young man.
I think Gene hit that one fairly well. He needs to get back up here.
Gene has now another chance at closing this out.
First of all, once again, Status is offering a special for the rest of the evening.
Gene Albrecht shooting at the winning 9-ball here. And there's your winner, Gene Albrecht. Want to take a second to thank everybody for showing up and all of our sponsors. Viking Q, Simona's Clock, Kamui Tips, Cyberts.com, and last but not least, Diamond Billiards for the $10,000 added Diamond 10-ball 10-foot challenge. Coming up, we'll have another match. This has been the Kamui Tips Pay or Play 9-ball event, and Gene Albrecht defeated Charlie Morra 5-4. I want to thank John Bertone, my special guest, hanging out in the booth with me. John,
thank you, JR.
Just be a minute.
And we'll be getting another match coming your way in just a few minutes here, folks. Thanks.
Let's play that Aramith commercial.
You want to play the Aramith commercial? You
Yes.
got it, brother. We'll do that on the way out. Take care. We'll be right back.